Okay. Good evening. At least we have Liban today.
Good evening.
I hope Tekele
Yeah,
will
yeah.
join later. As usual, he is delaying all the days. So I just recollect
Yeah.
our discussion, yesterday's discussion. We started yesterday with Unit 3, fundamentals of qualitative research method, and also in its relation with other mixed method as well as quantitative method. So we discussed the concept, meaning, and nature of qualitative method, and also we discussed part of things we discussed, philosophical assumptions of qualitative research method we discussed, but we have not yet not completed the entire thing. Just I'm saying there are five assumptions, philosophical assumptions related to qualitative research method. One is ontology, second one is epistemology, third one is axiology, fourth one is rhetoric, fifth one is research method. So each assumption have different type of questions and characteristics and implication for its practice. So, for example, ontology means, even in our unit 1, we discussed ontology means nature of reality. A particular phenomena have its own reality. It is not possible to influence anybody, but it won't have, it itself have own the nature of reality. Epistemology, you as a researcher, what is your relationship between as a researcher and a researched team, or you can say phenomena? How, what is the relationship between researcher and the things that being researched? Axiology means what is the role of values in research. Then rhetoric, what kind of language, what kind of language you are using in research. Methodology, it will show what kind of process you are following. So each one have its own characteristics and also its own implication in terms of practice. For example, epistemology, the quantitative study, it won't allow the researcher to say something. But in qualitative study, you as a researcher, you can able to say something your point of view, but it is in line with the subject you study or the target community you are engaged on. So the cushion is there for researcher to contribute something. So in this background, we are saying, I wanted to give an example which I used. Usually, this kind of the one I am showing here, it is an excerpt of one of my report, the research report, which was done in 2015 at Sri Lanka, where the war victims. This study was done among the war victims about coastal and marine livelihood study. So one of the exercise called the vision tree. It's the methodology we use qualitative. Among qualitative, one of the tool we used is vision tree. So our facilitator, he started with vision tree by asking the question, though it is inappropriate question, because people are affected with the war more than 3 years, they were not rehabilitated. So still people with the sorrow, many people were not given their relatives, whether where they gone, whether they died or not. These things were not known. But the
Hello?
facilitator, he started with the question. Usually, vision trees were started with the this way. What is your biggest achievement and joyful moment in your life? That is the question. Usually, we wanted to start with that. This question is inappropriate, the situation like this, but people are responded very effectively. In front of you, we are still alive, we are still alive and resettled in our birthplace. It itself is it itself is a joyful moment and achievement from our side. So you need to believe, especially in qualitative study, you need to believe people are able to cope up with any situations. They can able to contribute positively. So even you can choose your methodology. your research methodology, maybe you are going with transformative or action research, whatever may be, people can able to collaborate if you are going with a proper methodology. So that's why that is what I wanted to share from this slide. So for me also line is tripping. Okay. So for this part, especially philosophical part, there are questions you need to discuss yourself, or you need to discuss along with your friends. The questions like, when qualitative researchers choose a qualitative study, what philosophical assumptions are being implicitly acknowledged? So how you are going, when you are going to do a qualitative study, what kind of philosophical assumptions are being implicitly acknowledged in your qualitative study? There are five methods are there. How you are going to practice in this method in your study. Then, when a qualitative researcher bring their beliefs to qualitative research, what alternative paradigm stands are they likely to use? Alternative paradigm which says the researcher should not, his belief should not be shared with the participants. So what is your alternative? How you are going to share your beliefs, or how you are going to share your roles? What is the alternative paradigm? You need to find out. In the practice of designing or conducting qualitative research, how are assumptions, paradigm, and interpretive and theoretical framework is going to be used? So you look at the table, then try to answer this question. So there is an assignment is also there. Take the five philosophical assumptions and design a matrix like table 2.1, which was given in previous slide. That include a column 1 for how you plan to address each assumption in your proposed study. Maybe you can add one more column, how you are going to practice each of the paradigm in your research. That's what the assignment question. So now we were moving to next subtopic.
Is it hello,
Yes,
Doc?
yes. Tell me.
Is it individual or group
See,
assignment?
each chapter you are getting individual assignment.
Yeah.
Group
Okay.
assignment I will give you later. That one we will decide. But you can pick two individual assignments.
Oh, okay.
You can pick two individual assignments. So far we saw there are three assignments. So you can pick any two. Still many assignments will come. Maybe you, based
Okay.
on your convenience, you can choose.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So the next one is the difference between qualitative and quantitative. So before going to see that one, we need to know the history of qualitative research. Uh, we have different methodologies are there, but qualitative methodology, it's a recent methodology, or you can say it's a new methodology. So it can be seen as a new methodology. New methodology originated around late 1980s and 1990s. See, when PRA was invented, from that time onwards, this methodology got prominent. Especially this methodology got prominent after the invention of PRA, Participatory Rural Appraisal. Participatory rural appraisal was invented during 1970s, especially during 1977. That methodology was invented. As part of that methodology, this qualitative research design was introduced. So during 1980s and the early 1990s, based on the work from the individuals in different fields like evaluation, education, management, sociology, and health science, this methodology was introduced. Then it has gone through several development stages, because still it is in a formative stage. many philosophical debates were happened. I can able to share my own experience. My boss, the one who uh, gave first job after completing my post graduation, I was joined as a research assistant to one of the organization in Madurai, my hometown, in the year 2000. That year, my boss exactly he wanted to started his PhD career. He chosen PRA as methodology. He was refused by the university management. He was refused by the university management in the year 2000. No, you should not do your research study for especially for PhD. You should not do using qualitative method. But he argued himself. So he argued himself, and he got convinced the academicians. Then he started PhD. I hope you understand. The even that 2000 people are not ready to recognize. People are not ready to recognize qualitative as one of the methodology. That is the background. But of late, several it has gone through several period of development, including formative stage, many philosophical debate and procedural development, and more recently the reflective positions also. Still, the debate is going on, but now the universities are started accepting qualitative as one of the scientific method. Even my PhD, I started in 2011. Uh, I started in 2011, which was accepted. My PhD is partially it's a mixed method, which was accepted by the university to do PhD using qualitative, especially in mixed method. They were accepted that as a research methodology. So I did my PhD using qualitative as a methodology. So this is the background you need to look at. This is the background you need to look at. So this is the background you need to look at the history, because it's a very recent methodology. Still, people are not believing this is not scientific because you are not using numbers. You are using only the sentence and stories. So still people are not believing, but still debate is going on. At some level, it is accepted. Many universities are now, if you are willing, you can go with the qualitative study. But in development sector, it is the main methodology. Development sector mainly or completely going with the qualitative methodology. But in still academicians are reluctant to accept this as a methodology. Still debate is going on, but many scholars are contributing this as a methodology. Now it is accepted, it recognized. When you are looking at institution like IDS, IAED, or many USAID projects, these global institutions were recognizing qualitative as one of the best methodology. Now we are moving to the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Um, this slide is going to show you the major differences or the primary differences. It is going to explain. The both qualitative and quantitative, their analytical objective is different. How you are doing analysis is going to be entirely different for both qualitative and quantitative. Your analysis in quantitative, it is mainly centered around your numbers. Mainly centered around your numbers. Which number or which percentage is high, which percentage is low. That is the major analytical point you are taking it in quantitative. But in qualitative, it is the thing is entirely changed. There is no number, but you can able to compare with the different explanations given by the people. Maybe social mapping, people are giving some sort of explanations. The same matter is going to take it in another exercise. How people are answering both. You are going to do analysis using that one. In some exercise, you can able to ask people to do analysis as part of the exercise. For example, you can able to ask people to rank certain variables. People can able to rank, people can able to score, people can able to say using certain scale in relation to perceptions. They can able to give spacing certain variables, so they can able to do. So analytical area entirely differ in both methodology. Then type of questions you are posted to the group is also vary. Mostly in quantitative method, you are posting yes or no type of questions. Mostly in yes or no type of questions you are posting in quantitative studies, but in qualitative study, mostly you are going with the open-ended questions, because you wanted to probe further and further. You are going to use 6 different type of helpers. For six different type of helper means how it happen, why it happen, when it happen, what is happen, how it can happen. You can ask 6 different type of questions. You can put it per single phenomena, but there you can ask only yes or no. But in your data collection instrument is also you are using different data collection instrument. Quantitative study fully depending on survey method, but qualitative study it can use so many tools. It can go with mainly mapping, it can go with the ranking, it can go with the scoring, it can do content analysis, it can go with the network analysis, it can go with the migrant diagrams. Different type of tools are available. Then the form of data each can produce. The form of data here this side in quantitative study, mostly in tables, diagrams, charts, that is going to be interpreted by the researcher. But the data you produce, it is in the form of picture, it is in the form of symbols, it is in the form of different type of data you are going to produce in your qualitative study. Then the flexibility to follow the design. But in quantitative study, you are not allowed to change any. You are not allowed when you start your study. You are not allowed to change your design. But in qualitative study, at any stage, based on the needs of the field, you can able to change your research design. It is more flexible. You can able to make changes according to the needs of the village. Maybe you are choosing 3 villages for your study. You are going first village, you are finishing your data collection. You are going second village, according to your pilot study, you are chosen that village. But that village, maybe something happened. You are not allowed to do any data collections. You are free to change your the sampling village. You are allowed to change your sampling village, because the same nature of village you are going to find out. So it's not necessarily go with A or B. Maybe you can go with C or even D. So that much flexibility is available in quantitative study. So apart from this primary difference, I can also going to show you some methodological differences. It will be easy for us to compare with the same examples. So in terms of general framework, quantitative study, you are depending hypothesis. You are seek to confirm hypothesis about the phenomena, but in qualitative study, you are seeks to explore the phenomena. There, you have the phenomena. You find out. You set the phenomena. You are going to use hypothesis to seek confirmation about your phenomena. But in qualitative study, you seeks to explore the phenomena. You are going to explore what is the problem. There you know the problem, but you are going to confirm whether this problem is it is going to make any changes in the lives of the people or not. But there you are going to find out what is the problem. In a in under general framework, the instruments you are using in quantitative study, it is more rigid in style, because before going to the study you are setting your questionnaire. It is not possible to change your questionnaire once you started the study. Once you finalize from your pilot study, then the instruments it is not possible to make any changes. Even if it is wrong, it is not possible to make any. If you are making any changes, then your data will differ. So instruments use more rigid in style of eliciting and categorizing the response to the questions. But here in qualitative study, the instruments are use of instruments are more flexible, iterative style of eliciting and categorizing the response of the questions. You can do it at any stage. You are starting with one exercise, this village. Maybe you wanted to improve that village, improve that tools or data collection instrument in another village. It is possible. it is possible you can able to mention in this village we started with this variables, but because of the requirement we increase certain components newly. You can able to say in you are using highly structured method in quantitative study such as questionnaire, survey and structured observations you are using here, but here in qualitative study you are using semi-structured method such as in-depth interview, focus group discussions and participants observation. So it's a major difference between quantitative and qualitative. Both hypothesis as well as style of instruments, then structure of the instruments, it is entirely vary from both quantitative and qualitative. Then analytical objectives. You are trying to in quantitative study. You are trying to you are quantifying the variations. I told earlier you are trying to give your analysis based on which number is high, which number is low. So you are trying to quantify through the percentages. Out of 100, this is the difference. This is high, this is low. That's what you are trying to. You are mainly trying to quantify the numbers, but here you are trying to describe the variations. In qualitative study you are trying to describe the variations, but there you are in quantitative study you are quantifying the variations, but here you are describing the variations. Here you are predicting causal relationship. You are in your analysis you are going to say it is happened because of this increase. You are predicting the causal relationship between different variables, but here you are describe and explain the relationship of the particular variables. Maybe certain group of people's income is high because they have certain educational qualifications. You are confined, but here you are describing why certain people are getting more income than others through different reasons. They have educational qualifications, they have experience. You are giving various reasons in qualitative. In quantitative you are describing the characteristics of a populations, but in qualitative you are describing the individual experiences. You are not going with the group. You are describe group norms as well, but here you are describe the characteristics of particular populations, but here you are going with individual experience and also describe group norms. Data format, sorry, the question format, more or less you are going with the closed-ended question in quantitative. Qualitative you are going with the open-ended questions. Closed-ended means there is no third answer. You are going to close either yes or no. That's all. There is no other options. People are not allowed to go behind what you are gave as an answer. They need to stick their answer within the answers given by you. But in qualitative, it is an open-ended one. People were asked to reflect, asked to write, asked to say. It can go as a story or it can go as a short answers. In data format, mostly in quantitative study, it is in a numerical form. So you are obtaining and assigning numerical value to the responses. So mostly it goes with numerical, but here in qualitative, it goes with the textual informations. You are obtaining from audio tapes, video tapes, and field notes. You are getting text data. So this text data were come from different sources. In terms of flexibility in study design, the study design is stable from the beginning to end. You are not allowed to make any changes. Once you fix, you fix. That's all. You are not allowed. But here, some aspects of the studies are flexible. For example, you can do additions, you can do exclusions, or wording of particular interview questions. You can do. You are not allowed to change the design, but you can able to make changes within the design based on the needs of the field realities. But here in quantitative, the participants' response do not influence or determine how and which questions researcher ask next. You need to go with the serial number according to the question. You are not going to jump from question number 1 to 10 or 10 to 15. You need to go with 1 by 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are not allowed to go start in between. But in qualitative, the participants' response affect how and which questions researcher ask next. Maybe they started with the particular questions, but their answer leads to different questions. Then you need to change. Not necessary to go with the second question. You can go with the 10th question. Because they already started with something, it is The 10th question is more relevant than the second question. If you feel you are allowed to go 10th questions, you can come back again for second question some other time, or some other exercise also you can come. Then the study design in quantitative study design is subjected to statistical assumptions and conditions. According to your the numbers, your study design is subjected to statistical assumptions and conditions. But here in study design is iterative, that is data collected and research questions are adjusted according to what is learned. But there it is not possible. You need to go with according to your study design. You need to do statistical assumption and conditions. But here you can make adjustments according to that, according to what you learn from the field. There is an assignment is also there. You need to look at the assignment. List key research process according to the research methodology proposed by Kothari. And compare the features, identify the commonalities and differences applied in both quantitative and qualitative. What this assignment is asked you, you need to follow the research methodology given by Kothari. You need to list out that one. Then you can keep it, the second column you can keep it quantitative, third column you can keep it qualitative. You need to check, because he is starting with the research problem. Are you going to do it research problem first? Then you tick yes. In quantitative there is a research problem. Qualitative, is it in the form of research problem or something else? You are going to mention. So you are going to make a list. You are going to make a list according to Kothari. Then you are going to counter check whether this methodology, this method is, these steps are available in quantitative or qualitative. You are going to find out the exact list from both methodology. You have come up with your results. That is your assignment.
It is individual assignment.
Yes. Whatever I am giving here, it is an individual assignment. I will give you group assignments later.
Okay.
You pick any assignments, because so many assignments are there in each of the unit. Which one you are conversant, you can choose. I am not going to intervene.
Okay.
Why you are choosing this one and that one? It is you to choose.
Okay. If two people is doing the same assignment.
No problem. But you have more than 20-25 assignments are there.
Okay.
So it's better if you check with your friends. Did you choose this one? Means you can go with another one. Why you are chasing with the same thing?
In case if
No problem. That also it's not a crime. Okay. Now we were going to make a difference between, or you can say relationship between research method and the methodology. Both, I told yesterday, both looks like synonyms, but it have different things. Methodology and the methods, it have different meanings, but it looks like a difference. More or less, we are using same thing for different purposes, but we need to avoid in future. A methodology means a theory and analysis of how research does or should proceed. Methodology means you need to have a theory of change, and also you need to do analysis of how to do a research and should proceed accordingly. But method, it is a particular research techniques or way of gathering evidences about the phenomena. So methodology is the overall frame. Within the methodology, method you are going to use particularly for collecting data, collecting the information. Not both are not same, but it is related. So methodology, it's a overall frame or theory and analysis of how to do a research. But method is a particular research techniques or way of gathering the evidences for your phenomena. In technical term, these are all the differences I mentioned here. What is each method and methodology? Research method may be understood as all those methods and techniques that are used for conducting of research. So whatever way you are doing your data collections, method or techniques, that is research method. For example, if you are doing a library research, or you are doing a secondary research. You are not going to the field, you are just sitting in a library and writing some research article. That's also a research. For that purpose, what methodology you are applying, you are analyzing, your analysis of historical records you are doing. So you are going through the historical records for the purpose of you are doing analysis. In the same method, what are all the technique you are using? You look at the list. You are recording the notes. You are doing content analysis. You are seeing tapes and films, listening and analyzing. So method is analysis of historical records. The techniques you are using here, it is recording of notes, content analysis, tape and film listening and analysis. For example, field research, non-participant direct observations. You are observing, you are sitting in the roadside, you are observing how many vehicles are going in the morning, how many vehicles are going in the evening. You are trying to understand what is the peak hour. If that is the research, it is a non-participant direct observation research. In this non-participant direct observations, what you are doing, you are observational, you are using certain scale, observational behavioral scale, or use of scorecard, or you are just mentioning the data, just collecting the numbers. So that is your technique, but your analysis, it's non-participant direct observations. The same way so many methods are given, each method have different techniques. In research methodology is the approach in which research troubles are solved, or the research questions going to be answered, or the problem is going to be resolved. So it's a research methodology is the approach in which research troubles are solved thoroughly, or it is a science of studying how research should be conducted systematically. So in this field of research, a researcher explained himself with the different steps generally taken to study a research problem. I will show you what a research methodology is supposed to follow, certain steps. So these are all a research methodology is supposed to follow like this. You need to introduce your problem, then you need to say your research problem, need of the study, scope of the study, objective of the study, research design. These are all the things must be covered in your research methodology. So if you are going through one by one, you are going through a systematic way, then it is considered as a research methodology. When you are looking at number 12, method of data collections, that's research method. That is research method. That's why I am saying both research methodology and the research methods have strong relationship. Research methodology is an overall plan. Within the overall plan, research method is going to be getting prominent place. I think we have still only three and a half minutes are there. So it is better to, okay, there is a discussion question. You need to identify difference between research method and the methodology. Maybe you can expect this question in 4 mark. You can expect this because it's easy to differentiate from your understanding. So it's you can so you're going to find out the difference, or you are going to find out the relationship for this research method and methodology.
For when now or for assignments?
What? It's not assignment. It's a discussion question. It's not assignment. It's a discussion question. We have only we have only 3 minutes. 2 minutes. We have only 2 slides. Shall we go? Okay. So the application of mixed method, it involves collection of both qualitative and quantitative data in response to the research questions or hypothesis. If you are framing a mixed method research, you are going to combine both qualitative and quantitative data collection instruments. You are going to keep in a same schedule or same questionnaire, you are going to keep both open-ended question as well as closed-ended questions in a single questionnaire. So maybe you are mixing both open-ended and closed-ended questions. That is the way you can do mixed method research. It includes analysis of both forms of data. It is not just going with number. You are going to do analysis in a single analysis. You are going to combine both numbers as well as the qualitative informations. Maybe you can go with the table first. Then, in addition to supporting the table, the analysis related to the particular table, you can bring qualitative information also. So maybe you can say in-depth interview is saying the same thing or it is differentiating. You can able to combine both data in a single place because both are relevant. So even in your analysis, you bring or you are integrating both data. So that the two forms of data are integrated in a design analysis through merging data, connecting the data, or embodying the data. You can do mixed method. So these procedures are incorporated into distinct mixed method design that also included in typing of data collections as well as emphasis on giving each method in a parallel way. We will discuss these things later with some other experience, but it is possible to mix both qualitative and quantitative in an integrated study design. I will show you a picture. This is the study done using both qualitative and quantitative design. It came up with very well. The results are came up with very well combining qualitative and quantitative. If you are interested, I will show you the research report how the qualitative and quantitative data were combined together in a same subtitle.